Alright, you stupid son of a doge. You, last week you said you didn't want to play video games, right? Do you want to play video games? Why? Forget it.
Rated PG-13.
Alright, so you remember that NES I reviewed? Well, we're gonna play a little game on it. I have here a Sonic game, Sonic Spinball. So, let's go play it on the NES.
A few moments later.
I have my NES right here. All I have to do is take this thing. This is a really cool game, by the way. It's a nice pinball game. We have the artwork here. We have Sonic, Dr. Robotnik himself, not Eggman, because Eggman's an idiot. The general audiences. It's info on the back. Made by Sega, because it's really cool. It includes the manual. That wasn't supposed to happen. It includes the manual, which is pretty rare, and I got this for quite cheap. And then here's the cartridge. I don't think that works. Well, guys, it's bad news. Currently, I can't play Sonic Spinball because it doesn't work on the NES. Brilliant idea, though. Genetic modification.
A few moments later.
Now all we have to do is make the NES touch the most genetically awful and ugliest thing ever to exist in the history of mankind's small, round world. All we have to do is make them touch. It's the most beautifulest thing I've ever seen. It's not a Nintendo. Nintendo was conquering the video game market during the 8-bit era. However, as all companies have, there was an underdog. A company known as Sega, which stood for Superior Games, not even a joke, created the first 16-bit console, the Sega Genesis. The Sega Genesis hosted a whole load of games that were, well, better with graphics, some of them even close to realistic at the time due to something like digitized pictures, with the case of Mortal Kombat. In that case, there were console exclusives. You would have to buy a Sega Genesis to get the likes of Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Altered Beast, Alex Kidd, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Knuckles, and all that other time. And here, let's have a look at the basic specifications we can see on the console. On the top, we can see there are vents, just like the ones on the NES. Right here, we can see a big round thing, really cool design choice. We have these flaps here, these dust flaps that lead to the contacts for a cartridge. We have 16-bit Genesis. We have a power indication light right here. Over here, we have a volume slider that doesn't work with the TV. We have the on-off switch. We have the most comfortable to press reset button, and this volume slider is actually linked to this, a headphone port. However, from the way this was built, you would have to mute your television and then plug in some headphones and power the headphones with this volume slider. Because it wouldn't cut off the audios of the TV. It would just divert some of the audio over to this headphone port. Also on the front, we have ourselves two 9-pin serial ports where we can plug in a controller. We have simply labeled controller 1 and controller 2. On the bottom, we have contact information if we need help, some specifications about the FCA or something like that, I don't know, let me check. Of FCC, part 15 of the FCC, pretty normal stuff. Right here we got some Sega Genesis copyright, licensing, and serial number. Probably covered that up with the word Pingus or something, since I don't want anyone to know the serial number, don't know why. On the back we have some sort of a hole, I don't know what that's for, place it in the comments if you focus. We have a hole. I'm not sure what that's for, but it exists. Post it down in the comments if you guys know what that's for. Over here we have our DC. No, AC it says. What does it say? It says adaptor up there. Adaptor. We have a strange looking, it's considered a 9-pin because there are 9 like pins. Why not? An AV out plug. We're not going to be using that since I always have the NES's RF plug, which is right over here. It's set up already, so we're going to use that. Also, it is compatible because it's RF. It only has one plug. And then we have channels. We could set channel 3 or 4 for RF, which I always find it really cool where you can set the different channels because, well, it's cool. I don't know why. Now we're gonna set this aside. Gonna have a look at the controller. I always keep my controllers sort of wound up like this. It's not even a sort of. It is absolutely positive. Probably edited an Abbott and Costello thing right there.
I'm positive. You're positive?
He's positive, positive, positive.
You're positive? I'm positive.
He's positive, positive, positive.
He's positive. He's positive. He's positive, positive, positive.
He's positive, he's positive.
Right, so this is the plug. It's your standard 9-pin. These have been used in Famiclones across the globe. It is so easy to replicate because it's so cheap and so simple. Over here we have the Seigelauge. If that was a sort of a weird voice, I don't even know what I said there. Now let's have a look at the actual controller. A rather odd shape, but for the time really comfortable. For me, I have mixed opinions because it fits in a similar way to the NES controller, and the NES controller is really good, but it just looks really odd. But I mean, your hands, if you could like, we could look right here. It is pretty much perfect. Like, my fingers go here. This is right on top of the beautifully built D-pad. We can get a closer look at that later. My right thumb is right above the B button, which is right next to the A button, which is right next to the C button, and a strangely located start button, which I can also hit with my thumb. Down here on the bottom, you have some sort of a groove, which, as you can see, these fingers lay in there. Some other tat on... Focus. Okay, whatever. It's stuff, let me read it to you. A model number, Sega Enterprises, made in China. So, yeah. Let's get a better close at the front. It says Sega Genesis. That's pretty cool. Okay, we have the buttons. We have A, B, and C. And there's one thing I noticed about the A button. And that is if you push it a certain way, it'll get stuck. I can't replicate that right now, but it's a pretty odd function. I don't even think it was intended. And then here we have the D-pad. It's really brilliant. We have, of course, up, down, left, and right. Unless for you, this is right. In that case, right and left. But what's really cool is that you're able to... It's like a round D-pad thing. So you can press here, and it presses both up and... What is that? Left. Up and left. And, of course, well, diagonal functions. It's pretty simple. Now let's check out a closer look at the cartridge. I already showed you earlier Sonic Spinball. Here we have the cartridge. It has pretty similar crap to the box art. Of course, we have there Sonic. We have the Sega logo. Some sort of a Sega seal of quality. A lot of wear and strain over the years. I got this at a garage sale for quite the cheap price. So, yeah. Great find at garage sales. It says Genesis right there. Up on top, it says Sonic Spinball. On the back, you have a little grippy thing so you can yank it out of the console. There's no eject button. A bunch of copyright crap. These screws, I think, are the same on the... Let me check. No, they're actually bigger. These screws, as you could see, it's like... You can't see, actually, because the camera's an idiot.
A few moments later.
Okay, it's considered a 9-sided game screw. Normal term among the retro game community. And here on the back we have 3 of them, but they're kind of deep, so it'll be hard to see. They are extremely smaller than the one here. These are enormous, and I don't know any screwdriver that would be able to fit into this thing. Comparing it to the NES cartridge, want more. On the bottom here are the contacts for the NES cartridge. They are actually green, if you can't see that, which you probably can't. And here they're given a red tint. I don't know why, probably like a regional thing. And obviously, the Sega Genesis cartridge is much smaller than this in size to the NES cartridge, which then again, these are about the same size as the Famicom cartridge. But for a 16-bit console, to be the same size as an 8-bit cartridge, pretty impressive. You know, because the Neo Geo had cartridges the size of your mom. Going back to the Sega Genesis, I just remembered there were some accessories, which I don't have. I think I'll flash a bunch of pictures of those on the screen. And over here is where you plug in all the accessories. You plug in the likes of the Sega CD. You may have heard of Sonic CD because that was like jailbroken onto the App Store. So I'll show you how to hook this thing up. Please forgive me for A, the yellow light, B, the fact that this is sort of low quality because I zoomed in. Anywho, it's very simple to set this thing up. And you know what? I might as well zoom out. Okay, so once again at the back we have the DC port. That's very simple. Usually included with your Sega Genesis, you're gonna have your, I don't know, what is this? It's about the size of James May. It says, I don't know how to read this crap. It says like 120 volts and 10 volts at the same time. But it's very simple. I'm sure you know how this crap works. You just plug it into the back. There you go. It's sort of a loose fitting. I may have a rip-off or something. So I noticed there's like no guard in here. I think there's like a guard that has to be there. But it's very simple. You place that there. You take your giant James May brick. Then you just shove it into the power plug. You really, into your outlet. You really don't need to see that. We're gonna go get the controller. Now, once again, more evidence that this could be a ripoff is that with this controller, it's kind of hard to plug in because watch this. And time lapsing. 3, 2, 1. And done. That took actually a longer bit of time than it did in the NES, which took, what, like 12 seconds? However, the NES also had a long time with plugging in and turning on the cartridge. This one, need I say more? First, however, it is kind of a tight grip, but it works. First, we're going to have to take our RF plug. Right there, it looks like an audio video plug, only it's black and sends out both audio and video at the same flipping time. It's obviously going to go on the back at the RF plug. I don't know how tight. Oh my gosh, that is perfectly snug. Nice. If I have this set to channel 3. So let's plug in the game and get playing some pinball. So once again, if you guys do enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment, blah blah blah, all that other crap. Anywho, 4th favorite movie in the world, maybe doing a review on this. Don't judge me about how I like this movie. Anywho, gonna hit the on switch. Let's go to options. I hate the music that comes out of this, though. This game has the worst music ever. It just sounds awful. Hitting start begins the game. I have turned the music off. Now, one thing you will notice is Sonic looks really fat for some reason. And I don't know why. Second of all, you'll notice he does run sort of fast, but then just stops altogether, loses his momentum. Another thing, check out the momentum jump. He just stops altogether. I have played even some of the modern Sonic games, like Sonic Heroes, and, well, that's not exactly modern, but whatever. Alright, so yeah, the point of this game is simply to get the Chaos Emeralds. You know, the classic Sonic thing. Like getting these two things that are up on top, up to the left, and up to the right. You also can't jump down there because crap gets you. The hitboxes in this game are made of cabbages. As you can see, I didn't even touch that thing. And yet when I did touch that thing, nothing happened. The game is quite simple. Default setting, the C button will activate both things. Of course, when you're just running a Sonic, it will make you jump. If you hit the C button, it will cause both pedals to go up. If you hit the B button, it will make the left paddle go up, and the A button will make the right paddle go up, and you pretty much have little to no control over Sonic when he's in this pinball mode. Like, I'm no control whatsoever. However, the game it was like the only game that the guy had that involved Sonic and didn't involve soccer. I literally just offended every soccer player on the planet. Thank you very much. Also, I do seem rather boring today. I don't know why. So how about we go back to some regular Luke Does Gaming. I am actually kind of hyped up for this because that is not regular Luke Does Gaming. In fact, this game, I'm looking at it, it reminds me of the Sonic Sat AM cartoon, which I didn't watch like when it came out, but it's like all over YouTube's, and it's considered one of the best Sonic cartoons ever, so that's definitely a +1 for Sonic, because he has been yelled at a lot in the past couple of years because of, you know, Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric.
What are you playing?
There's Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, there's Sonic Boom Fire and Ice, there's there's Sonic 06, which has a great storyline, as Peter Knetter has explained. But the loops are, what's the word? Broken. That's what. So we're going to try and get past level 1. Sadly, what's one thing that I noticed about the Sonic franchise is that Tails has never actually gotten a proper game. I mean, he got Tails Sky Patrol and Tails Adventure, but he never got a game like Sonic Adventure, or he should get a game like Tails Adventure 2, where he actually has to fight Robotnik instead of a witch on a unicycle, like he did in Tails Adventure. I would really like if Tails made it back, because Tails is ya boy. He is like 400 billion times better than Sonic in every way, because he's smarter. He's Sonic, all he does is Snock. All he does is go fast. That's all he does. Gotta go fast, Sonic, and that is literally the only thing that Sonic does. He goes fast. Tails, on the other hand, goes pretty much as fast. He goes pretty much as fast as Sonic, but he flies. He's a genius. He's a nerd. He's absolutely adorable, and he has a better name. Then again, his name is Tails. If you think about that. But, you know, I'll probably place a poll in the corner saying if you guys want a Tails game, because, you know, if you think about it, Tails Adventure and Tails Sky Patrol were definitely games that were no good, because A, they were on the Game Gear, which was kind of slow. B, they were, even though the Game Gear was slow-paced, the games were extremely slow. Like, massively slow, and that's it. I just died. Well, guys, that ends the game, and it's very simple to turn this thing off. You simply hit the off switch, and it causes you to run into WD Gaster for a second. But the game is rather fun. I spent a long time on my 13-inch CRT television playing this game. It is extremely fun. It was extremely cheap, and the original Sonic the Hedgehog cartridge is $2. I don't have that. And guys, be sure to check out Try Hard Control, because you either will see, or it's already up there, I'm not sure, a review of this, Pokemon Yellow. There's a lot more information of this. This is actually a rather interesting cartridge of Pokemon Yellow. You guys want to figure out what's in this thing? Because this thing is legit the most interesting thing on the planet. If you guys want to see this, go ahead and hit the link for Try Hard Control in the description. I'll be joined with SmartBoy Gaming. Once again, his channel is in the description. And Try Hard Control consists of SmartBoy Gaming, me, and check this out. Going back on topic. Sonic Spinball. Would I recommend it? Well, if you're a try-hard Sega Genesis fan, it's very easy to get. I got that for 35 bucks, and it included the Sega Genesis, so, yeah, that's cool. It's, the Sega Genesis, however, quite expensive nowadays. I got mine for 30 bucks. They go on the internet for 90, so, yeah. That was pretty much a steal. I knew I could not turn that down. That was the greatest offer I could ever see. But, yeah. You got some pretty good games on there. And you know what? I recommend it to anyone who's a Sonic fan, or anyone who's a fan of anything that's like retro video games. And it's a definite piece that will go well with my collection. And with that, well, I guess I'll let Jeremy Clarkson finish that. Hey, listen, Tube, I'm not even joking, but the TV is actually kind of spazzing out with, like, a sort of WD Gaster crap. Yeah, like that, legit. This thing isn't on. You can't see the red light. This thing is legit spazzing out like something possessing it. And I just realized something. This console had Sonic on it. And my TV is spazzing out like it's haunted. Does that mean... Hello there, Internet peoples. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Luke Does Gaming. If you guys did enjoy the video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to leave a like. If you guys want to recommend anything for the next video, go ahead and hit me up in the comments. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you all in the next video.